Această emisiune este sponsorizată de Centrul de Carte Străină Sitka.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are as excited as I am to embark on this incredible learning journey together. My name is Andreea Moldoveanu, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be your teacher this session. I'm an English teacher at secondary school number 40, and I have been teaching English for more than 12 years. With a passion for education and a commitment to your success, I am here to guide, support, and inspire you every step of the way. Get ready for our lessons and thought-provoking discussions. Buckle up, because the adventure starts now. So, I'm going to introduce my new students today, Lara and Robert. Hello, how are you, Lara?
I'm good.
What about you, Robert?
As well.
Okay, so our lesson is entitled Creating a Fantasy World. Today my students will be creating their own fantasy world based on their responses to questions. They will also create an illustration to go with their written description. So, as resources, I thought about a notebook, stationery, and pencils. Another resource that I was thinking about was a worksheet called Forget About It. It means that we have some phrasal verbs and expressions with the verb to get. I will start by telling you a story regarding two students that created a magic kingdom. So they became king and queen and had many great adventures in their minds. For this assignment, think about what your fantasy world would be like. However, think as if your world is real. Would it be a place you could escape to, or a place that helps you deal with your problems? Lara, how do you travel to your fantasy world?
I travel to my fantasy world through books.
What kind of climate does your fantasy world have, Robert?
A temperate climate.
What
kind of fantastic creatures or people live there?
In my fantastic world will live elves and fairies.
Do you gain any special powers or abilities when you go there, Robert?
All of your problems or bad emotions go away.
Okay, would you change form? Like shape?
Not really.
Lara, what fun things are there to do?
You can attend magic festivals and go to magic classes.
Okay, in your magic world, what kinds of adventures do you have?
There's a lot of planned adventures like rock climbing or learning how to drive a flying car. But there's actually not planned activities like going out at night and hunting coyotes or even hunting bears.
Robert, the last question. Who and what would you bring with you?
I'd probably bring my classmates because they're really fun, and a camera to film all the amazing things that will happen in my fantasy world.
Okay, thank you. Now, in all fantasy stories, at least one aspect of the real world is different from what you would expect. So we are looking for things that are impossible, things that are not yet possible but could be. Lara, think of some examples that are in real world.
For example, babies can crawl. Clouds are lots
wait a
of tiny
second.
water.
Babies can crawl.
Crawl.
Yes.
Yes. Clouds are lots of tiny water drops.
So it is raining, let's say. And
fairy tale characters are just in stories.
fairies are just in stories. Lara, and in a fantasy world, what do you have?
Fairies exist.
Yes, indeed. Fairies exist. Okay?
Babies fly.
Babies cry. Yes.
Fly.
A fly, sorry.
And animals can talk.
Animals can talk. Robert, what is your definition of magic?
Probably my definition of magic would be some supernatural thing, like a normal person flying, or maybe an animal talking.
So magic is the synonym of supernatural. And what
Yeah.
about you, Lara? What is your definition of magic?
For me, magic is everything that's very beautiful or unnatural.
Natural and beautiful. Very interesting. Now, about similes. When we talk about similes, we talk about the comparison between two things. For example, as smart as an owl, as quiet as a mouse. I wrote here some animals and about some adjectives. For example, courageous. Courageous is for lions, for bulls, for firefighters. Yes? Frightened.
Yeah.
Mouse, rabbit, dog. Ferocious. We have wolves, crocodile, bears. Lara, give me examples of similes in English.
As brave as a lion.
Okay.
As courageous as a police fighter.
Wait a second. As brave as a lion.
As a lion.
Yes.
As courageous as a police officer.
As courageous as
A police officer.
a police officer, of course. Give me an example of for the word mouse.
As frightened as a mouse.
And the last one, Lara?
As ferocious as a predator.
As what? As ferocious?
As a predator.
So you will need all these similes in your future paragraph regarding a fantasy world. Before writing a short story, a paragraph, or a story based on a fantasy, you have some key events. How is the meaning, I mean the plot, constructed through the story beginning? I mean the orientation, the problem, the complication, and how the problem is solved. When we talk about the problem and how the problem is solved, we talk about resolution. That is about the plot. Also, the plot of a story is a series of events organized into the orientation, complication, and resolution that builds tension in the story and interest for the reader. So, we have the setting. Setting is an important element of fantasy. When and where does the fantasy story take place? How does the author use languages to establish setting and atmosphere? How does the setting shape the events and influence the mood of the fantasy? And how does the setting build characterization? The setting also provides information about where and when the story happens. Also, the setting can shape the events and influences the mood of the fantasy. In a fantasy story, the setting is important to the plot. Settings can be a new world in the future, in a virtual reality, or in the paranormal. Regarding theme, what is the main idea or meaning expressed by the author? What did you learn from the way a character solved the conflict? That is the theme. Lara, can you give me examples of themes you have read in texts or might know about?
The last time I read The Adventure of Tom Sawyer, I found 3 themes: adventure, friendship, and childhood.
Okay, what about you, Robert?
Last time I read a book, It was Floss the Lost Dog, if I remember correctly. And I found childhood, love, and nature.
So the theme of a story is what the author wants the reader to think about when they read the story. This can be about different issues or ideas. So common themes include courage and perseverance, power, love, and environment. In fantasy, the common themes are perseverance in the face of adversity and, yes, evil exists in the world and needs to be overcome. You are going to listen to an English teacher that will show you the steps on how to write a fantasy story. So pay attention because in a few minutes will be your turn.
Now it's your turn. For the task, only focus on the orientation or beginning of the story. If you do not have a story, use the image on the next slide for the task. For the setting, what words in the text describe the setting? Does the author use words that tell you what it looks like, sounds like, or even smells like? Think of the plot as what happens in the story. Is there a theme in the first part of the story? How is the character shown through the plot, setting, and theme? The slide after the image will show you an example for this task.
This was the image. Robert, can you please imagine a short fantasy story based on this image?
Welcome to Jolly Fella. Down an old, lonely road lays a great big, red brick Victorian house. Next to it, it's a big tree full of leaves and vines. The house seems to be forgotten by the world,
And Lara, can you please help Robert to continue the story? So the house seems to be forgotten in the woods. And what is the end of the story? What kind of creatures do we have here?
The house that used to be an elf's house, where now no one lives because it became a house of peoples, or humans.
Humans. A human's house. Okay, so that was the example that the teacher was talking about, where the wild things are. So first of all, we have to set the plane. You have there the example, for example, Mac's bedroom had basic furniture, no toys. The plot, what happens in the stories, you have to develop your ideas. And how is the character shown? Robert, you didn't talk about characters, just Lara said that were humans there. But you didn't tell me what exactly they were or what they were doing. And we have a paragraph structure. Before writing a short paragraph or a long paragraph, it should follow the same basic rules of structures. For example, we have to make the first sentence of your topic sentence. The first line of your first paragraph sets up what information is to come as your audience reads on. The second is to make your last sentence a conclusion or transition. This next paragraph can continue on the same idea, but the ending of each paragraph should briefly summarize the information that was provided before moving on. For example, in a novel, you may start a new paragraph when bringing in a new character or specify when a different character is speaking. Next, we have the transition words. They are very important. Transition words help together separate paragraphs, connecting them to form a coherent idea. Phrases like in addition or moreover, furthermore can help readers track your ideas and understand how they relate to each other. Lara, Robert, you have like 3 minutes to write your own paragraph describing your fantasy world based on the previous information. Lara, are you ready?
Yes,
Okay.
a little girl with a heart as brave as a lion's was standing in front of the enormous green head, with a look as sharp as the gleaming edge of a freshly honed blade, giving the little girl a shiver down her spine. But she didn't show the big green head that. The green head was sitting on a royal chair with a lot of emeralds on it. The room they were in was green from the top to the bottom, and there was a green light falling on the huge green head, making it even brighter in the room. Everything was as green as emerald, and because of that, the girl was wearing some green glasses because if she wouldn't wear them, she wouldn't see.
Okay, thank you. Did you manage to draw something?
Yes,
Okay. Very interesting. So what does it represent?
it represents the girls in front of the big green head.
Okay, thank you. Lara, let's check. We have here a word checklist. So does your text have a title? We have to, no, so we put a cross. How to travel there?
No,
Okay. Description of the climate?
no,
Who lives there?
yes,
Okay. What you can do there?
no,
No. Who and what should you bring?
yes,
At least one simile.
yes,
Very well. At least 5 different adjectives.
yes,
Strong verbs.
yes,
Illustration or map. Yes, you had. Illustration, use of at least 3 elements of design. So I think you had only 2. So we put a cross here. And illustration, use of primary colors and secondary colors. Yes, you had. Very well. So each time when you write a fantasy story or a short story, you have to do a word checklist. Okay, let's go to vocabulary part. A few synonyms. Robert, what is the synonym for small?
Slim,
Sorry.
tiny,
Tiny, yes. For big.
ginormous or huge,
Very well. For pretty.
gorgeous, cute,
Cute. Interesting. Lara, can you please help Robert? What is the synonym for interesting?
fascinating,
Very well. Robert, for great, a synonym for great.
impressive,
Yes. Impressive. Very well. What about cold?
cool, chill, or
Okay. What about hot?
warm, and
Okay. What about dry?
arid or parched.
Sorry?
Arid, A-R-I-D.
Yes. And the synonym for wet?
Damp, soaked.
Yes. Very well. Thank you. I talked about at the beginning of the lesson forget about it. So words regarding the verb get, phrasal verbs and expressions with get. Lara, can you guess what they mean?
yes. Billy can't wait to get a new iPad. Here, get can means buy. He can't wait to buy a new iPad.
Okay. Billy can't wait to get a new iPad. You mean to play? Okay. The next sentence, Lara?
Mom went to get milk. Mom went to bring some milk.
To bring. Yes.
It was getting late. It was becoming late.
Okay. Lara?
I don't want to get your cold. I don't want to catch your cold.
Okay.
Please get your mom on the phone. please bring your mom on the phone.
Bring your mom. Mm-hmm. Next.
I get your meaning. I understand your meaning.
Okay.
Get them to join in. Convince them to join in.
Okay.
We will leave without her if she doesn't get here soon. We will leave without her if she doesn't arrive here soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So, I have some tips for you, daily reading routine. First of all, you have to choose something to read. Find a quiet and comfortable space to read. Read for about 15 to 20 minutes and have a chat about what you read with someone else. So reading is very important for developing your brain and your imagination. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Robert. You did great. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching us. See you next Monday. Goodbye.